Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I am your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most, here on The Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, how's your Thirsty Thursday going?
Oh, my Thirsty Thursday is going quite well, sir. Quite well. Still kind of thirsty because the workday has not ended yet, but I believe this evening I'll make up for lost time.
Listen, you got to do what you got to do. Listen, the only thing better than day napping is day drinking at work. So, you know.
Well, as long as work's got to get done, then I keep it all together. I keep it all together. There's work time. I believe this, man. I believe in work hard, play hard. But I generally don't do both at the same time, except maybe it's SHOT.
Oh, you say we conduct business differently at SHOT Show than we do normally the rest of the year?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much me all year long.
All year. I don't. You know what? I don't doubt that, but yeah. Not that. Well, let me clarify. Not so much different, just a lot more of it. Like I said, I've always employed the work hard, play hard mentality. You just when you're at SHOT, it's a longer work day and it's a longer play day.
Yeah, like I said, that's pretty much me all year long, but it's never really affected this 25-year-old body of mine, so we're good.
Yeah, right. Okay. On that note, as your nose is growing, just make sure it doesn't poke at the camera. All right, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Why don't we start off with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Let's say hey to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. You got yourself an AR in the past couple of years. Probably got one of their barrels and you don't even know it. Well, now you can go buy from them direct for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can be involved in California's future today. Get involved with the California Republican Assembly. If you want awesome field gear, tactical gear, web gear that you can go, hunting, camping, doing whatever you want with, go to uscombatgear.com. Or listen, now's the time to go get yourself a new holster. I know you may not need one, but you know what? The holiday's coming up. St. Patrick's Day is coming up soon, and you want to beat the St. Patrick's Day rush. So get out there and get yourself a new holster from Hog Holsters. HAWGholsters.com. That's HAWGholsters.com, and use the discount code The Rundown, all spaces, all caps, one word. Make it happen.
That's not all spaces. It's all caps, no spaces.
Oh.
So all spaces, no caps.
All spaces. Do that. Just leave it blank. Just leave it blank.
And you leave it blank, and you will get a discount of 0%.
That's it. I told you, Craig. Drinking starts early here. So
there you go. It is Thursday. Clearly, Hump Day was a good day for you.
There's no humping, but it was good. Yeah, it was all right. It was okay.
Oh, Lord. Folks, these are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor. Do yourself a favor. Follow the link in the description to this program. Go there, check them out, and make sure you tell them that it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also, if you haven't already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. There are tons of ways to both listen and watch the program. Check them out and encourage your friends to do the same. Let them know, man, look, this is the spot. This is where all the real news is being reported. You don't listen to the, CNNs or the Foxes. This is the spot where you need to be getting your news on a daily basis. Just saying.
Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother.
All righty then, let's go ahead and, let's take a look at, see what's going down over here is our first story of the day. Our first story of the day has to do with the chemical disaster that took place in East Palestine, Ohio. The interesting thing about this one is, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday when we were doing our parting shots, but this is turning out to be the largest disaster that has taken place. I mean, the largest chemical disaster that has taken place in U.S. history, just about. And what's interesting about it, Mike, is that the federal government, the White House in particular, they seem to be, well, mum on it. They don't really seem to have anything much to say about it, or aren't reporting on it, or don't. The worst part is they don't even seem to really be responding to the people who are living there, who are dealing with the fallout, literal chemical fallout from this derailment.
Yeah, and of course it's being led by old Pete Buttigieg's, Department of Transportation there. And remember, just last week he made some idiotic comments. Earlier this week, idiotic comments about road projects being, racist, or road crews being racist, or that kind of nonsense. So, it just lays right into what's going on out there now. Of course, they're saying that the reason for this accident, Craig, is because the tracks were racist. They're finding every way to poke holes in these idiots there in this administration, including Mr. Buttigieg at the Department of Transportation. Greg, the reports that I've seen say that over the past year and a half, 2 years, the Department of Transportation has laid off, or forced to be laid off, track inspectors and train riders. That's actually like a track inspector that rides on the train. So you've got the ones that do it from the ground, and the ones that do it from the train itself, to the point where they're, it's sometimes there's 40, 50 miles of track that go uninspected, as opposed to what used to occur on a daily basis. The tracks being taken a look at and examined. So probably this administration's, cutting back of those jobs, which is kind of odd, because normally you see the Democrats go ahead and pump those federal jobs all the way up as much as they can. But they took out all the safeties inspectors and all the security inspectors involved in rail systems. And guess what happened?
Well, Mike, the thing is the thing they don't tell you is the rail system, while it is been proven to be largely efficient when it comes to moving products across the country, it's not necessarily as efficient when it comes to moving people. And their big whole thing is they want to push rail. They want to get people out of their cars, and they want to push or out of diesel trucks, and they want to get the idea, and they want to push rail. So the idea that it might be unsafe it doesn't fit their narrative. And here in this particular case, you've got them subsidizing a lot of these railroad companies and a lot of these folks. Like the video that you were just seeing there while Mike was talking, was there was an outburst because people were just frustrated. They hold this town hall meeting to find out what happened, what's going on, and what's being done about it. And the company that's responsible for the whole thing doesn't even bother to show up to the town hall. They don't even bother to show up to tell people what's going on. I mean, you have people who are dealing with who they're telling people. I mean, we're talking a lot of these are low income people. They're telling them, well, why don't you just go get a hotel and then we'll reimburse you? Well, a lot of these folks don't have money to go get a hotel for a week or 2 weeks at a time. They still have a mortgage payment that they've got to make. You have people who are sick. Their animals are sick. I mean, for all they know, their entire community it could be devastated for years to come, and nobody is telling them anything.
Yeah, absolutely right. And hopefully they get to find out what this chemical is. I mean, is this a short term? Was this just some simple, a smoke cloud from transporting flour? Or we got some deadly chemical that's going to last years and years and years and kill the water supply and the environment around it. Let's find out. But you're right, Craig. They've got nothing so far from either the train operator or from the DOT out there.
Well, and I think that part of this has to do with the fact that, while this is supposedly a president for all of America, this is a town, this is a county and the surrounding counties that voted heavily for Trump in both of the last two elections. So one is questioning whether, number one, they're questioning whether or not Well, whether or not they actually, that might have something to do with it, that these are not Biden's people. But the other thing, going back to, the whole, is it racist or is the our roads or rails racist? Well, most of the folks that are impacted by this are not people of color. So therefore they care less, or at least they're doing less.
Yeah, that's the way this administration works, right? That's how they roll.
Well, if it's all about race, then there you go.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, next in the news, Karine Jean-Pierre, KJP, is basically saying that Biden's economic plan is working, despite that whole stubborn inflation thing. Now, I got to wonder what exactly this lady is smoking, because anybody all you have to do is stop at the gas pump and realize that, the economy is not working. Inflation is going crazy. All you have to do is go to the grocery store, right? And realize that that purchases that used to run you like $100 are now running you $150, $200, right? Here in this piece right here, here's a quote from KJP. She says, "We believe that the president's economic plan is indeed working." What? Yeah, it is indeed, and it's giving people a little breathing room. Mike, I do not know about you, but I am finding that I am having a lot less money than month. I'm not quite there yet, but I used to have a lot more money than month at the end of the month, and I'm finding that I'm having less and less. I don't know, once again, what she is smoking, but things are definitely getting more expensive. Opportunities for many people out there are a lot slim. A lot of the jobs that are available out there and are basically, people aren't qualified for, at least in places like California where the quality of education and job training is so poor.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure what she's smoking, but it's definitely coming from from the bosses there at the White House. So, again, her position is to lie, deny, and make counter accusations. It seems she's just struggling at that as well. You're correct, Craig. There is more month than money going around right now, as opposed to what we saw the previous 4 years. And the big lie is, right, oh, don't worry, the economic plan from the current administration puts that money back in your pocket, and they tell you that as you're standing there on the corner, looking for a quarter because you don't have the money to get that cup of coffee anymore because you've got all your money gone. Like you said, there's a lot more month going around than there is money.
All right, here's another quote from KJP. It says, "As the president said earlier today, his unwavering focus is on continuing to lower the costs for families. And that's going to be our focus," she said. "We're going to continue to do that. That's why the Inflation Reduction Act, which everyone knows does not reduce inflation," sorry for yelling, "is so critical, is so important. And we're going to continue to fight for the American people and meet them where they are." Now, Mike, let's just be clear. First of all, inflation is still high, right? It's not at record highs where it was, but it's still high. And here's the thing you need to understand, folks. When you talk about inflation, you're talking about price increases, right? Even if inflation were to stop, right? If there were no more inflation, that means that prices still remain at the levels that they are, which means they still remain high, right? When inflation, it adds on each other, right? Each year, the costs add on top of each other. And so they're not doing anything to lower costs. The best that they can claim is that they're trying to keep costs from going up at the very best. But if the one thing that they have to tout that says, oh, look at what we're doing to reduce inflation, the Inflation Reduction Act, which every economist, just about every media source out there has acknowledged, does absolutely nothing to reduce inflation.
Zero. I like how she said, KJP said that it's the president's unwavering focus. That guy couldn't go to the bathroom with unwavering focus. Okay.
I'm like, look, he is just trying to focus on remembering his name and where he is at from moment to moment. That is his only unwavering focus, and that is good only about half the time.
Yep. So let me blow your mind with this, Craig. Right? We understand how the right, the conservatives, those that are fiscally responsible, view raising the minimum wage to $15. Remember, we went through this over the last couple of years. Raise it. Everybody's got to make $15 an hour. We got to make $15, $20 an hour. Everybody's going to raise it. And we understand that raise the cost of the labor that does nothing but manual labor in a high school job to $15 or $20 an hour, that the product's going to cost more, right? We understand that. We know how that works. What if the Democrats have figured out some incredible plan to raise the price of the products, thereby devaluing the raises they already gave to these people to go to $15 an hour? What if this is their way to get back at them?
To get back at poor people? Raise prices on poor people?
That's right, because
that's what they did.
I know. That's what they did. So we gave you the raises first. Now we're raising the price because you can afford it.
Yeah, exactly. That does not surprise me, would not surprise me one single bit. And it is, Anyway, I'm kind of livid about it, but I'll get over it. No, I won't. What makes me mad is that there are so many of the American people who don't get it, who refuse to get it. But,
because there are some people that they don't have a problem laying this on the debt onto other people. Well, I'll take credit cards or I'll be late on the mortgage and the heck with it. Let's just keep rolling.
Yep. That's pretty much it, because by the time it comes home to roost, they will either have moved on to another position, or they will have been out of office, or they'll just move on and they'll just find a way to blame. It never fails that they institute a policy, the policy doesn't work, and then they say, well, clearly we need more of the policy.
That's right. We need more policy. We need more gun control to stop gun violence.
Right. Yeah. How's that working out for you?
Yep.
All right, moving right along. The next item here on the agenda: California teacher fired for refusing to lie to parents. All right, so there was a teacher in California, in the Jurupa Unified School District. This is in Southern California, which is in Riverside County. This particular teacher decided, I am not interested in. We had to do a transgender. So you had students. They had a policy. The school district had a policy where they were supposed to, if a student wanted to transition, they were supposed to lie to the student's parents and, not tell them that their child is transitioning and using different pronouns at school. And so for this, as a result of this, because this was district policy, she was fired. First of all, I think that, number one, as a mandated reporter, I don't know. Okay, I won't deal with that issue. What I will say is this, is that if you are telling a teacher that they are supposed to lie to parents, no, you don't get to do that. If you're telling them they can't tell parents certain things, teachers have no HIPAA requirements. If you want to call it a healthcare thing, it doesn't matter. It's not their thing. They have no quote unquote code of silence that they are required to deal with, and especially if it comes to pronouns, we've already seen the courts starting to say that, no, you cannot shut down a teacher. You cannot tell a teacher what pronouns they can use when it comes to their students.
Listen, there is good news here, Craig, that they're going to soon be changing the name of the Jurupa School District to the Jessica School District, which is that teacher's name, because she's going to own them soon. This is going to end up in court, and they're going to say, they fired you because you refused to lie to a parent. Gotcha. Would you like that in 50s or 100s, ma'am? She's going to be able to rewrite this policy here in the next couple of months when they hire her back as superintendent. This is I don't know. This is that politician thinking it's the right thing to do. We don't care, but it's the right thing, so we're going to do it. It's for the children.
Well, and the worst part, man, is that they're saying, so there's a couple of different issues here. One is, and I don't know how long she's been teaching, but if she's been teaching at this school district for more than 2 years, then she's a tenured teacher, which means there's a lot that's got to go into them letting her go. And my guess is they have not fully dealt with that. The other thing is that she is saying that based on her religious beliefs, our religious beliefs, there are not multiple genders. There is no such thing as gender transition. A boy is a boy and a girl is a girl. And she has, because of her religious beliefs, which are her First Amendment beliefs, she has a right to not be compelled to speech or cannot be silenced when it comes to certain speech. And in this particular case, I have a feeling that she is going to kick their rear ends in court. And I think it's going to wind up being a big win for people out there who don't want to have this forced upon them. And that's the worst thing about all this. It's like, look, you're an adult. You believe what you want to believe. I'm an adult. I get to believe what I want to believe. You don't get to force me to pretend like my beliefs don't exist. You don't get to do that. Period.
Yeah, exactly right. And so listen, if you're out there in Riverside County, and you know this teacher, or you know people that know this teacher, start getting in them circles, traveling in them circles around her, because you want to be able to be sure that you get on that invitation list for the party she's going to throw when she beats the county school board there.
Oh yeah,
this is going to be a big victory. It's going to be a big victory. And Craig, I know we're talking about her religious beliefs and that she shouldn't have to based on her religious beliefs, but just like you said, this has everything to do with that. This has to do with being instructed to lie to a student's parents.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. We all knew this was already happening, but now it's like happening in public, right? And that is a senior moment for Dianne Feinstein. She is the senior senator from California. Just the other day, she was being asked by a reporter if she was running for re-election, and she said she had not made that decision yet. And then the reporter noted that she sent out a statement. She turns to her staff, "We sent out a statement? Oh, well, there you go. There you have it." Well, now more and more we're starting to find that she is really losing it. There was a report yesterday that after a series of 2 votes, she asked the question of her staff, "Did I vote for that?" She appeared to be confused. According to this story, Senator Dianne Feinstein emerged from the Senate chamber on Wednesday, seemingly confused about what she had done during a 2-vote series. Did I vote for that? The insider overheard the California Democrat ask her longtime chief of staff, David Granis, about approving a judicial nominee on the federal bench. Granis, who had just finished explaining his 89-year-old boss that the 6 Senate votes scheduled throughout the day would be on Biden appointees, shook his head and said no. Wow. Okay. So just so y'all know, yeah, these votes make a difference. I mean, I hate to say this, but who you decide to put in office makes a difference. And one of the things it reminds me of is, y'all do know Fetterman is still there in the Senate, right?
Listen, the system is so corrupt, Craig, that we'll take a Fetterman, we'll take a Feinstein, and we'll put staffs behind them from the party that they are in, and they will wind them up and tell them what to go vote and stand there behind them and tell them what to vote. You see it during the committee meetings. You see them whispering every answer into the ear of the likes of a Dianne Feinstein. It's a corrupt system. I bet you, Craig, no lie, maybe up to 20, maybe 30% of the people that are up there are not in daily control of their faculties, yet that we're relying on them to determine the course of the nation, and we know that they're being controlled by the party and the staffers.
Yeah, here the article goes on. This is a trip. The most jarring part of the public episode was Granis was trying to map out what Feinstein, whose cognitive ability has increasingly come into question, needed to know about what was happening later, but she couldn't recall what had transpired minutes before. Mike, once again, It's amazing that she still has the physical capability to be able to walk in, because I still remember times when they would wheel in like Strom Thurmond, or, when they wheel in some of these senior members, and and once again, this is not a Republican or a Democrat thing. This is really just, look, people who are voting, you need to recognize that at a certain point, I don't care how good or how much you agreed with them when they were in their 50s, 60s, and maybe early 70s, at a certain point, you have to start to realize no matter what your job is, your cognitive abilities are going to be affected by your age, by your age, and it's being affected by their age. And you need to start paying attention, because right now California is not being very well represented by Senator Dianne Feinstein.
No, just agreed with you, Craig. She needs to go. We've seen the lapses from Pelosi as well. It's as far as the people electing them and putting them in there, they don't care, Greg. No. The people don't. How many people do research on coming
R or D? That's all they care about. R or D, and I would say right now, that's not me. I am 99% more likely to vote for a Republican. Because after I've done my research, I've rarely have I determined that a Democrat running against a Republican has values that are closer to mine than the Republican. That has been a rarity. In fact, I cannot think of one time in which it's happened. But it happens, I'm sure, in some places.
Or when you didn't vote when you voted for Obama, how about that?
I never voted for Obama, ever.
Sorry.
Ever. Anyway, on that note,
I kid.
It is about that time, Mikey. It's about that time. We call it time for parting shots, brought to you by Hog Holsters, helping America wear guns. Go there to hogholsters.com. Get your Hog Holster today. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces. Get your discount today. All right, this first one is in recognition of the stuff that's going on there in Palestine, East Palestine, Ohio. Here you have a guy who's standing outside of what looks to be a big city. I don't know why. It doesn't look like East Palestine, but he's looking at a big city, and he's wearing a hazmat suit, and it says, "Why are you wearing a hazmat suit?" He says, "It's perfectly safe to move back in." Yeah, as the smoke was just pluming over the air, where they're testing the air and no one knows whether or not it's really truly safe. They're telling people, let me clarify. They told people it was safe to go home before they started even testing the air, Mike.
It's all good. Don't worry. You got to go back in. That's because that part of Ohio is predominantly Republican. So,
well, there you go. That is exactly what it is. And so therefore, Democrats have a hard time supporting it. In fact, according to the Babylon Bee, one well-known Democrat who had originally announced their support and concern for East Palestine, Ilhan Omar decided to withdraw her support for East Palestine after learning that it's actually in America.
She only supports Palestine for Palestine. She didn't realize it was American Palestine, Ohio Palestine.
Well,
she's like Ohio Palestine. Well, they have jihad there.
She supports Palestine for the Palestinians, and East Palestine is not for the Palestinians; it's for the Americans.
She got no need for East Palestinians.
All right, and by the way, those of you out there in the YouTube or internet, whatchamacallits, we are not reporting this as news. This is the Babylon Bee, a well-known parody website that makes up stuff that is funny in the news, just so you know. And with that, we're done for the day, Mike, except for one thing, and that is the shout-out to our sponsors.
There we go. HitmanIndustries.net, HitmanIndustries.net. You can get rifle and pistol length barrels and rifle and pistol calibers available. So check out HitmanIndustries.net. The California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can be part of California's future today. And, of course, if you want some awesome some hunting gear, web gear, some tactical, some outdoor gear, some hiking gear, go to uscombatgear.com.
Folks, once again, please visit our sponsors. Let them know that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. And with that, we are done. One more time. We very much appreciate it, but we've got one more day left in the hostage situation. So we will be back tomorrow on Feedback Friday. We hope that you will join us. Well, if you don't, then forget you. You guys take care. We'll see you soon.